Okay, so welcome to another episode of Women Petpreneurs podcast with your host, Mary Oquendo. And my guest today is Melinda Stanford. Hey, Melinda.
Hi, thanks for having me, Mary.
You know what? Thanks for taking time out of your day to be here. I appreciate it.
Of course, of course.
So let's start off with how you got involved in the pet industry.
So it goes way back. I actually got started in veterinary medicine. So when I was in college studying veterinary medicine, I got a job at Banfield as a technician. I really loved small animal medicine, but then I went to large animal, ran anesthesia on racehorses. Then I took a little bit of a career break, had some kids, started raising a family, and really wanted to get back into the pet world. Like most people, of course, I have dogs and active in dog sports. And I was like, what about a grooming salon pet store? Because I had started, like most people, grooming my own dogs through the pandemic. And I just absolutely love it. And went to my first pet quest 2 years ago, and the rest is basically history. And it's just been a whirlwind.
Okay, you know what? So Pet Quest, all right? A nice small show. All right. I know so many people that when they went to that first small show, not one of the big ones, but that small show is when they really got hooked in the pet industry. And I think it's just enough space to meet people, talk to vendors, talk to other speakers and stuff like that, that sometimes I think gets a little lost on the big shows.
Yeah, because I've now been in the industry for 2 years, so I've been to a lot of shows now. That's actually how I've connected with you. And you're very right, because Pet Quest was my first show, and it was actually where I met Denise, and I went to her class, and she just inspired me to run my business and run my salon and build a team and build a healthy culture. And I've also been to the larger shows such as Super Zoo, which are fun. And, I've been 2 years in a row now, but I almost enjoy the more intimate setting. Personally, getting to talk to the vendors a little bit more and build that personal connection with people. I personally enjoyed that more, but I think they all have their benefits. Everything has a pro and con to it.
Oh yeah, I love Super Zoo. And as long as the WPA wants me, I will be at Super Zoo. Okay. It's a crazy show. And honestly, truly, it's not a show I recommend necessarily for somebody who's never been to a trade show before.
And me neither. The first year I went, because my grooming salon also does have retail, so that's what makes me a little bit different. But when I first walked in, I kind of had to actually turn around and take a deep breath to just gather myself, because nobody can really prepare you for what it actually is.
Oh, seriously. I start off every year with, you know what, I've got the app and I've got this, and I'm going to go through all the things and I'm going to, yeah, right out the window. The
Oh yeah.
second I walk into that floor, that's gone. Okay.
I feel like, because this was my second year attending, and this year was very different for me because I actually went with Mogo, the software I use, and helped run their booth. And that was a whole different exhausting but thrilling experience of I'm so tired, but having so much fun at the same time.
Yeah. You know what? I've never done a booth at a large show. I've only done booths at small shows. And you know what? They're exhausting because when you're at a booth, you're on. All right. Sometimes you walk past a booth and obviously the person is not paying attention, and you're like, well, you know what? They're not paying attention. I'm not going to stop at the booth. But honestly, having worked the other side of the booth, sometimes they just need for you to walk past the booth and not stop.
Yeah, I mean, I I try to consume probably an unhealthy amount of caffeine to keep going to engage with people. Plus, where I am, as I told you, I'm very new to this industry, so anybody that walks by is a new opportunity for me to gain knowledge. So I really try to engage with everyone. There are times where I'm engaging and I have to look at them and like, hey, sorry, like, can you slow down, because my brain can't keep up. I'm a little tired right now. But it's a lot of work. And then particularly, running a booth at Pet Quest versus running a booth at Super Zoo, two totally different experiences, both very fun. Both I learned a ton of new skills. I also made a lot of new friends because it is not easy to set up a booth at Super Zoo to where you're having to rely on, I don't want to say rely, but connecting with your competitors and your neighbors of like, hey, who has a pair of scissors? Because I, for some reason, flew across the country from Indiana and don't have a pair of scissors and have 30 things to open. So both are fun, exhausting, but really, really fun.
Yeah, your best bet is to find someone, a vendor who's been at many trade shows. I guarantee you they are well stocked. Because after I left, so I did the first show in the Tacoma show, and then I did the next show I did at the Rocky Mountain show, and I did some other place, but every time I go, my packing list gets a little longer. It's like, how do I not have a roll of tape? Okay, now roll of tape, pair of scissors, and you don't want to go up to say, I don't know, like the Evolution booth to borrow a pair of scissors, because that's
I've
not going to
just
go over well.
I've just always set up my booth next to Best Shot because Dave goes way back with Platinum Paws, my salon. So he's been a really great resource to just guide me. And I've kind of made a running joke with him that I need to always have my booth next to his because I just really like his scissors. Because I think I used his scissors in RW in Kentucky. I used his scissors at PetQuest, and then I also used his scissors at Super Zoo.
Okay,
So
to be kind of clear, the scissors we are talking about are the type of scissors to like open up boxes,
not shears. I'm
not
not shears.
shears. Okay.
No, I mean, thankfully he owns a shampoo company, so we're not talking grooming shears. Don't come at me for that one. I'm not doing that, guys.
Yeah. I don't want to get a call either. Excuse me, what scissors are you using to open up boxes? No, scissors, not shears, scissors.
Yeah, exactly.
I nearly gave Chris Bear Anthony a heart attack. So, I'm retired, right? But I have scissors. I have really good scissors. So now I've got my greenhouse and I got microgreens and I need a good pair of scissors to like cut my microgreens, right? And I mentioned, to Chris, what, they're ergonomic. So being as I'm not grooming anymore, can I not, and I was like, I'm like asking permission. Can I use the scissors to cut my microgreens? And if she could have reached through the phone to strangle me, she would have.
So the question is, did you use the shears to cut your microgreens?
I used another pair of shears, not Evolution. I won't say which ones. I'll tell you.
Okay. You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me.
They're still good. I mean, they're still good quality, and I need them to like, not a crappy pair of kitchen shears. I needed a good pair of shears. But my
Yeah.
question to Chris, if she's listening to this, but Evolution shears are ergonomic. Don't you want my wrists to last me through years of gardening?
Maybe that can be a different, like, a new brand that they can build. They
Gardening
can
shears.
branch off into the gardening. How many groomers probably take up gardening when they retire?
Yeah, seriously.
I
I
mean, maybe this is a whole untouched industry that we've just uncovered.
yeah. So
Like,
somebody can run with that. I'm really free with the ideas. I have an idea and I have no intention of doing it, but I think somebody should. So somebody please do this and then let me know. I'd
yeah.
appreciate it. Okay, so you decided to open up a shop slash retail.
I was fortunate enough I actually was able to purchase it. So I purchased actually 2 years ago to today. I
Really?
closed on
Happy, happy
today's my
anniversary.
2-year anniversary. So yeah, 2 years today I purchased my salon. They had 4 groomers on staff and 1 receptionist and offered grooming 5 days a week and they were open 6 days a week. I have now grown that to I have 6 grooming tables. I have 7 groomers. I do have 1 out on maternity leave. I have a total of 4 to 5 bathers and some float between front desk. And I have a team of over 12 people now.
Wow.
So I've really grown, and I'm very limited. I'm very small, just for perspective, but I have really taken something beautiful because what they built was amazing. And the previous owners are still good friends, and she's actually opening up her own shop officially this month. And so I'm really excited for her. And I've really been able to take on all their education and their passion for, quality pet food and care, and just really grow it into a passion for myself, and continue on, quite honestly, their legacy within our community, which has been just an adventure and a blessing all in one.
Hey, I want to touch on something. So you have the former owners now opening up another business, and you're very supportive of that, which I think is wonderful. And I think that's the way it should be.
Yes.
You know, if we stop viewing other professionals within our little niche as competition instead of start viewing them as colleagues, we grow so much better.
Absolutely. I mean, so the previous owner, she actually stayed on with me. Yesterday was her last day. So she worked with me part-time for 2 years, even though when I bought the salon, she said 30 days. And she stayed on with me while she built her own salon. We are about 25 minutes from each other. And I have told her from the beginning, we each have our own businesses, but we need to support each other. And what I mean by that is we both offer extremely fantastic quality grooming, but her environment is certainly a one-on-one environment versus mine is not. And that's something that I'm aware of. So if there's a dog that I see that's like struggling in my salon environment, doesn't do well with a dog being dried next to them, or even other dogs, I'm not going to keep that client just to put, a couple bucks in my pocket. I'm going to have a conversation with that client of like, hey, really appreciate your business, but I would really like for you to consider giving Kathy a call. She's worked here with me for 2 years. She's opening up her own salon. It's about 20 minutes from me, but she might be able to offer a lower stress environment that, Fluffy will feel more comfortable in. Um, and so it's really working together. This community is very small. There's enough clients to go around. I think we should all really support one another, and we never stop learning. It's something that I kind of live by, that I'm sure I have tips and knowledge that I can share to others, but everyone else also has experience and knowledge that they can share with me. And I think by just supporting one another, you know I really love this community. We can all be successful. There's
Yeah.
enough to go around.
Yeah, you know what? And you meet most of those people at trade shows.
Yeah, I mean, that was the main thing that got me started, is I bought the salon. I love this community. I went to that first Pet Quest. Denise like spoke to me and just like, oh, I love her. And then I wanted to get more involved, but it's expensive to travel to trade shows. So then, I reached out to Mogo, who is the software both I and Denise use in our salons. And I started running events for them. And that gives me the opportunity to go out and also talk to other groomers, and talk about how software can help, your businesses. And it also just gives me the opportunity to network. So it's a win-win, I think. Like I'm getting the best of everything. I'm very fortunate in that aspect.
Yeah, you know what? In software, I mean, technology has increased by leaps and bounds. Okay. Back from when I first started, and then, like to this day, I just hate Excel sheets. It's like, don't send me anything on an Excel sheet. Please don't do that. I have like, I don't know, PTSD surrounding Excel sheets. But the original accounting software was basically glorified Excel sheets. Okay.
Yeah.
Hate Excel sheets.
It
Okay. So
goes way back for you.
that goes way back for me. I've got accounting software now that I like. It's not QuickBooks. Um, whole other conversation regarding QuickBooks. I use something called FreshBooks, which I like. It's a little bit more intuitive, and it doesn't require me to hire somebody from FreshBooks to fix something so that it works properly. Or
That's all you need. I mean, when I bought my salon, that was one of the things I looked into was software because, just no shows, appointment reminders, for groomers, that is depending on how they're paid, even if they're not commission, if they don't have that groom come in, they're going to lose out on their tip. So it was just something that I wanted to tackle head on. So, I mean, I purchased in September and I changed and upgraded the software by October.
automation, anything that you can automate makes your world go easily. So let's go back in the way back machine before really cell phones, or the first like the first cell phones were like suitcases. Okay. And I had such a suitcase. Okay. So cell phones are not what they are today, are not what they were. So everything was done via phone. All right. And when text messaging first came out, all right, that was amazing. Okay. Do you know how much time that saved me from not having full on conversations with every single client trying to make an appointment?
I mean, I know we grew up in different times,
Yes.
but I actually do remember like my first job at a veterinary hospital, we did not have auto reminders. And every day our receptionist would have to call the next day's appointments. And I mean, it's not a difficult task. It's very easy, but it's one of the things that takes a lot of time. And I don't know about you, but like if I'm doing that task and I get interrupted, it almost frustrates me. So then it's like carving out a chunk of time for you to be able to do said task
Yes.
uninterrupted. It was, yeah. And I
All right.
mean, that was back in, I mean, that was just in 2008. We weren't automated yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So going from, I don't know, an hour and a half every day on the phone to like no time on the phone, that gives you back that time. Your day ends an hour and a half sooner. All right. You're not working an hour and a half later than you should. So yeah, I'm all about automation and anything that makes my life just a little bit easier.
oh, I'm sad to hear you don't like Excel sheets because I love Excel sheets. For everything
Oh,
from my personal budgeting to my dog show budget to my planning. But I agree with the automation. I have weekly reminders and daily reminders on my phone. I mean, one of the things Denise taught me when I first bought my salon was building policies and procedures. If you have clear expectations and, a streamlined operation, it's going to allow you and your staff and your team and your business to run smoother and also potential for growth, which most people want growth. This is our businesses, this is our jobs. Like,
and the whole policies and procedures thing, when I first made all my clients start signing my policies and procedures, okay, and I really wish I would have instituted that right from the start. I really do. But you know what? You live and you learn. And I am so grateful for people like Denise who hammer this. Okay.
I mean, she is anybody who's starting off their business or working as a solo groomer and looking to grow and hire on that first employee or that second employee. I'm going to say you should go to Denise's seminar because, she is very valuable in teaching some of those lovely tools that you need, as well as you. I mean, you're all about safety and procedures as well.
You know what? I think there's more knowledge today than there was 5 years ago, than there was 10 years ago, than there was 15 years ago. Knowledge builds upon itself. Okay. So
Absolutely.
it's nice to see so much new things that we struggled to get the trade shows to offer as education. And now it's like if I'm almost sorry I'm not going to Groom Expo, which this is going to air after Groom Expo, because
Oh,
I got the catalog and I'm looking, wow, these are some really good classes. And there's a lot of business classes.
I love the business classes because we all know I kind of like my slogan is I'm the world's worst groomer because I mean I'm not super talented. Um, I can groom a golden retriever for you beautifully because I breed and show goldens. You give me a poodle, I'm gonna cry and tell you that you should really go with one of my talented groomers, not me.
Okay, so a real conversation I had in the parking lot. So mobile groomer, hey, I'm going to charge more money. So this woman comes up to me and she goes, "Oh, you're a mobile groomer. I have a standard poodle. What would you charge?" And I just deadpanned to her. I says, "Well, um, it's going to be a little bit more expensive in the shop, and I don't have the maneuverability to work on a standard poodle the way I would in a shop." I said, "You're going to pay me a lot of money for a mediocre job."
I mean, I think we all have our own skill sets,
Yes.
and you don't have to be the world's best groomer to be successful.
Yeah.
And but what, for me, I'm definitely more business oriented, but I do need to be able to develop a program and an environment to retain and take care of those very talented groomers because I am, a quality over quantity is my salon's morals. I'm definitely I am price competitive, but I am on the higher end for my area. So it takes more. I don't want to say takes more, but like we all have our own skill sets. And it's if you can build a team where you all support each other and you all have your strengths and weaknesses, that's the best environment you can have.
We all have, I mean, I have been told flat out by a client, all right? They love me. They've had better grooms, but they can't imagine taking their dog anyplace else. Okay. And I'm like, yeah, I know there's a compliment in there. I'm just going to dig around a little bit for it, but it's there. But we all do have our specialties, and that's so about networking and having colleagues. Okay. So if someone wanted like that standard poodle who she really wanted a show trim on her dog, that's not me. Okay. But you know what? Let me give you the name of a shop where this is what they do. They're phenomenal. Okay. However, that same shop doesn't want to do the seniors. They don't want the old dogs anymore. So you know what? You send me the old dogs and I send you anybody who's looking for anything more than a puppy cut.
I mean, that just goes back onto how we first started. This community is so small that we really need to keep I don't like the word competitors, but those around us that are in the same industry, we all need to be friends
Yeah.
because we can share, and then we can also send referrals when we think that there may be a better match somewhere else, and that's okay. Like that is you nailed it. You just repeated it, I'm a loud salon. I have 26 to 35 dogs go through my door every day. For some dogs, if you have that 14-year-old Shih Tzu that is prone to seizures, I don't think my salon's going to be the best fit for them.
No.
Versus Kathy, who has her own salon on her property and does 2 to 4 dogs a day. She's a little bit more expensive because it's a little bit more of a one-on-one experience. But I think your pet's going to be better there, and um, I think that's so important in this community. And that's something that I really love is that I've seen everyone is very supportive. Everyone is very friendly. I don't feel like anyone is my competitor.
No, no, colleagues. We're going to take a quick commercial break.
Introducing the Mobile Groomer's Companion Guide, your essential 90-page resource for launching a successful mobile grooming business. This comprehensive guide equips you with all the essential insights to conduct thorough groundwork before making a substantial investment in a vehicle. Discover invaluable sections covering client, pet, groomer, and vehicle safety, routing and scheduling techniques, as well as pricing strategies. Get your copy at positiveed.com/books.
That was quick. All right, so
Mobile grooming.
well, I mobile groomed for more than 20 years.
That's so impressive because I just admire, there's so many tools now, to help make mobile groomers' lives easier. I mean, it's one of the reasons that Mogo was so successful is because of their route optimization and their maps, and you're able to assign clients to, certain zones. To think about 20 years ago, that was you.
That was a Rand McNally book that had pages and pages of maps. And let me tell you about the first navigation system, okay, which, by the way, I paid over $1,000 for, okay,
Oh gosh.
used the satellites, okay? So whenever a government needed the satellite, then I didn't have navigation, or the navigation was ridiculous, okay? I would be like in the middle of Lake Michigan, I don't know, but I had no idea where I was. And the navigation system was like, yeah, you know what, we'll come back on later. It'll be fine. In one instance, I'm driving on a main road and it tells me to go up this dirt hill, this dirt road, up this dirt road, come back down the dirt road, go back to the main road. That was actual navigation instructions, okay? Whereas today it's free and it's awesome.
It's just, I remember, obviously, this was early 2000s, we didn't have GPSs on our phone. You had like the Garmin or whatnot, but then you had to pay to update the software. I think it was called MapQuest. And I remember like when I wanted to go somewhere as a teenager, typing in an address on the computer and then having it print that one by one guide, and then like looking at the odometer on the middle of my car to be like, okay, I've traveled 1.8 miles. Now I make the left. And it's just, and now I have, Apple CarPlay in my minivan, and it just, tells me when to turn. I would love to know more about how you survived mobile grooming without like an app like Mogo, or without navigation on your cell phone, because I would not have survived.
Oh, no, it was fun, but it was just simply the way it was. And then if the paper maps weren't current and updated, because, sometimes roads changed, okay? I had a friend of mine, she was going to make a turn she always made, okay, to get to this person's house. And then as she's making the turn, the road is blocked off, and now like it's the barrier against it. So, yeah. You young whippersnappers don't know how good you've got it.
Oh, no, I do.
I had to drive uphill both ways in 2 feet of snow to get to my client's house every day.
I'm very, very fortunate that I need to be fully transparent here, Mary. It's not all me making my shop or salon successful. It's my amazing team. And then I also have my very business savvy husband who helps run the back end of things. So I do not think without those two things that I would be where I am today. I know I would not be where I am today. I have amazing staff, and I have a very intelligent husband that kind of knocks me back into my place if the emotions start playing too much into the business, and he keeps me in check. And so it's really nice to have a very logical business partner to keep me going.
All right, so tell me about the retail end of things.
So I'm in Indianapolis area, and I actually have giant freezers. So what makes me really different to try and be competitive is I have a lot of the specialty raw, fresh, frozen. I do have a giant kibble shelf, But by having that raw, fresh, frozen, I have something that no one else really carries. And I mean, you have some of your larger retailers, have like a freezer or two of like a single door. I have a total of, I think, 6. So, I mean, just the quantity that I can hold allows me to have more options. And so, with that being said, if you have a dog that keeps coming to your groomer and has really sensitive skin, I have some very limited ingredient diets that you could try, and also, like some goat's milk you could add to see if we can get some probiotics to help your pup start feeling better. I really like having the retail in with the grooming salon because, as most groomers, our clients are very regular. Our pets are coming in every 6 to 8 weeks, or 4 to 6 weeks, depending on the style or cut, which is very close to about the timeline that they should be buying food for their dog.
Mhm.
So it's really nice because I'm trying to become like that monthly stop for you to take care of your pet, come in and see what we have to offer. I also do like to feature local products. So I have a lot of small company products in my store,
Oh,
um,
good.
to try and support small business.
I did a little bit of retail out of my mobile grooming van. I was also very, very particular. So it was what my dogs ate. Okay. So it was the high quality kibble. It was raw. Um, and the way it went is that I am not going to help you feed your dog crap. If you want, this is what I'm carrying, or this is what I'm willing to carry. Okay. And I had my freezer. So if you wanted raw, you had to be the first appointment of the day.
Yeah. And I mean, I tell this to every client when they come in, I got my start in veterinary medicine. I have a passion for animals, obviously. Nutrition in many ways is pet health. It's where it all starts on the inside. And my dogs are garbage disposals. And so there is no one kibble, there is no one raw, there is no one protein that I feed my dogs. They eat a variety, but they do eat everything I carry in my store. And that is something that makes me I feel good on the inside because I'm able to tell clients, like, okay, I have this golden retriever who's 3. Her name's Valentine. And from birth to 12 months old, like for no reason, explosive diarrhea. Like, I had taken her to the emergency vet twice because it was so severe. I thought that, like, foreign body or something, like it was not normal. Once I started feeding her a mixture of kibble with raw, I got a healthy gut going, and now she thrives. Her coat looks better. She just ran a fast cat today and did amazing. Only problem is she feels so good she can actually jump out of my yard now. But it's just it feels fantastic to be able to offer to clients, a solution for a lot of these problems that we're having, because a lot of these problems we have with today's pets are based on nutrition.
Yeah, and I got my first lesson on that. My first lesson in nutrition was with Sammy, who was 9 years old and was starting to spill urine and protein into his urine. And I took him off of the store-bought form, the store, it was available in the supermarkets because, it said nutritionally complete on the bags, but I didn't know any better. Okay. I started doing a little bit more education, took him off of that, put him on a high quality food. And then when my shepherd Malamute, when she hit like around 12, she was starting to go downhill really fast. Her joints and everything were horrible. I put both of those dogs on raw diets. So that 12-year-old dog made it to 15. All right, the shepherd Malamute. And the same thing with my pit bull. All right, diagnosed at 9 with kidney failure, passed away at 15. That's food.
Yes. And I mean, that is, I'm not sure if you've mentioned it on this podcast, but there's a Prime video called Pet Fooled. And anybody who has a pet watch that video, because it was an awakening moment for myself. And the reason I'm going to say that is I am from the veterinary background. So I'm going to avoid using brands, but I had some brands really put up my face and said, like, oh, your pet has kidney failure, you need to feed this prescription diet, you need to feed this. And looking back on it, I do feel guilty on the inside, because I don't think those diets were what those pets needed.
Well, this
And
my problem with those, okay? And I am not going to dispute the science that goes into them. I'm not, okay? But when one of my dogs was diagnosed with diabetes, right? And they brought out, what was it? MD, whatever the bags is,
yeah,
whatever the letter /D was.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And I'm flipping in the vet hands it to me and I'm flipping it over and I'm asking, well, why are there peanut hulls in there? Okay, well, it's a source of fiber. Okay, for the amount of money that this bag costs, do you think they could have come up with a better source of fiber than peanut hulls? And I think that was my big issue.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same for human health. You start eating whole foods and drinking more water and living a healthier lifestyle, you'll feel better. I mean, I recently lost 90 pounds myself over the past year, because I had a really hard time with my pregnancies. And so I started exercising, eating better, quit drinking alcohol, and drinking a silly amount of water. I have so much more energy than I did a year ago. And our pets are the same, you know, and I'm not saying, let me be clear, I still eat McDonald's. Like, I'm not some health guru, okay? But not it's different if you have McDonald's every now and then versus if you have it for every meal. And that's what we just need to look at for our pet nutrition is, you know, what's the foundation of their health, you know, and let's feed them whole foods, fresh foods. You know, my dogs love carrots and apples and bananas, you know, versus processed foods.
Yeah.
We know this in human diets. Like, we know processed food is bad for us. It's still on our shelves, and I still buy it and I still eat it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I was at McDonald's a couple days ago because, you know, fries.
Oh, they're the best. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think I can't, and no other place. This is not a plug for McDonald's, by the way. Okay, just to be clear. I have never had better tasting fries than at McDonald's.
They're so good. And I call it the high fructose corn syrup, the sweet and sour sauce. That stuff's amazing. It's so horrible for you. But I mean, it's fine if you give your dog, you know, treats or, like, you know, a cookie for their birthday or something. But if you feed every single meal the same processed food, you know, what do you think that's going to do for their insides? How do you think that's going to make them feel, their kidneys, their liver, their heart, you know, their energy? And so it's something that I really love pet nutrition, because I also love, because I've had a couple clients now that come in and say, like, hey, we were referred to you because our dog's having this problem. And I have a big heart, so then I end up giving them, like, a ton of free food and, like, just try this. And then they come back 2 weeks later and they're like, oh my gosh, his skin's doing so much better. He has an appetite. And then it's not only do I now have a customer for life, but I also have a relationship. And I also get to know that I helped educate another pet owner out here on how to properly feed their dogs, because it's we have been for generations told over processed kibble and the same dog food is what we need to feed our pets. I don't know about you, but I don't want to eat the same thing every day. I eat a wide variety.
Yes, our dogs, yeah, I said my dogs eat way better than I do. I think I spend as much money in the pet store every week as I do for grocery shopping.
I kind of make the joke sometimes when I'm like, you know, I do have 4 kids as well. So I'll, like, have my fridge open and I'll be like meal planning for the week. And I kind of chuckle because I have, like, more dog food sometimes in my fridge than I do, like, food for my children, I'm like, ugh, I really need to run to the grocery store. But you know, it's just I really love the nutrition side. I love the grooming, just because I love seeing the transformation of pets. But again, I'm not a talented groomer. So I really love building the relationship with the pet nutrition.
And here, just let me just stop you as not being a talented groomer. Okay. There is an absolute market for people who are pet groomers. Okay. You don't have to put a show trim. Now, should you know structure? Yeah, you should. Okay. But you don't have to turn out. In fact, most of my clients couldn't care less
Yeah.
because they want me as their groomer as opposed to, was I the best? Now, don't get me wrong. I was not a terrible groomer. Okay. I was a very good pet groomer. Okay. But you would not see any pet in a show trim because in order for me to put that pet in a show trim, that's a lot of my time. That's going to be very expensive. Right. They want clean, comfortable, and cute. That's the 3 C's: clean, comfortable, and cute. The 3 C's.
I love it. Yeah. No, I give myself some crap and tease myself because the team I have, they are phenomenally talented. So I just admire their work, and one day, you know, I would love to trim up a poodle the way they do because it's so beautiful. But you know, they have their place and I have mine, and together we make a fantastic team.
We do. We do. There was one groomer in my area. We called her the Wheaton Terrier Whisperer. This woman loved Wheaton Terriers. And you want to know what? They all behaved for her. Every single one of them. Don't ask me. All right. But she loved the breed. And we're like, oh, you have a Wheaton? No. You don't want me.
Just
Let me give you a different phone number. You call her. You're going to be so much happier. Your dog is going to be happier. You know what? I'm going to be happier not grooming your Wheaton Terrier.
I mean, that's kind of like when a client calls, I'm like, oh, it sounds like you'll be fantastic for Murky. You should go to her. She's in my shop, but she's super talented, you know, versus if it's like a golden retriever or Australian shepherd. Yeah, that's me. I got that. I can do that for you.
So my specialty was golden retrievers and the seniors.
I love the golden retrievers. I don't think I've told you this. I actually purchased an Afghan hound. So that is going to be a whole new grooming adventure for me that I'm really excited to go on, to like learn how to maintain a show coat on an Afghan. Um it's going to be a lot of work, but I'm
Oh,
really excited.
be a lot of work. Yes, it is.
I've always wanted one, and an opportunity arose, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to get any younger. I'm done having my youngest is 2 and in preschool. I'm going to get an Afghan hound. My husband is thrilled at this idea.
My husband, we're watching Westminster one day, and he's looking at the standard poodles, and he goes, "Oh, they look so awesome. We should get a standard poodle so we can have a poodle look like that." And I get up and I go over to the kitchen where I kept a spare comb and a brush, and I'm like, "This is a comb. This is a brush. I'm going to show you how to use it, because if you want a dog that looks like that, you're maintaining it."
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work, because if not, that standard poodle is going to be in Miami year round.
Oh yeah. It just yeah.
Yeah. So, anywho. All right. So now you're only in the industry 2 years, and I feel like you're already making a name for yourself. So, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh goodness. 5 years. Well, honestly, I would love to open another location. I also would love to start, I have kind of two dreams. One would be another location with retail because I'm very passionate about the pet nutrition. And I feel like with the grooming in the retail, I'm able to get people through the door to educate them. I also would love to start a grooming school. Because it seems like there is always a need for talented groomers. So those are kind of my two big things. I see myself in Indiana. I will never leave this gorgeous state. One of my kids is going to end up here, so I'm never going to move. So in 5 years, my Afghan will be 5. Um, I'll be still showing dogs. I'll probably still be breeding, and I'm hoping I'll have 2, maybe 3 locations just in Indianapolis. And I would love to eventually one day, you know, uh, be a speaker like Denise. Like she really inspired me. And like you, it's just I want to continue to gain knowledge. And right now I don't have a ton of knowledge to share because I am so new, but I think I can share a lot of inspiration.
You are sitting around on an entire gold mine of information that you're not giving yourself credit for. Okay.
Oh, well, that means so much.
All right. You are very knowledgeable about nutrition.
Thank you.
All right. You're knowledgeable about, golden retrievers. You will be very knowledgeable about Afghan hounds really soon.
That's going to be an adventure.
Okay, but here's the thing. I don't ever, and I think it's because, I rarely see like workshops on golden retrievers. Rarely. All right. I've never seen a class on Afghan hounds at a trade show. And the last time I saw a golden retriever workshop was done by Sue Zecco back at H.H. Backer, which is like defunct for like 15 years now. So there's, and I don't see those type of classes. And you know what? Golden retrievers are like a bread and butter
Yeah.
of grooms. Why aren't there more classes along those lines? Okay. You've integrated retail into a grooming shop. Is that not something to share your knowledge on?
I would love to see more grooming salons grasp that retail. And because coming from my experience of being in veterinary medicine, the veterinarian sees your pet every 6 to 12 months. Your groomer sees your pet approximately every 6 weeks. We can catch problems before anybody else,
Yeah.
and if we can have a relationship with our veterinary professionals, and we can help these pets feel better on the inside, wouldn't that be fantastic?
Yes.
I would love a world, and we're getting there. I believe this industry is progressing into the way where veterinary medicine, pet nutrition, and grooming is the pet care industry as a whole is really uniting. And I'm just really excited to be a part of that entire process and keep it going.
Yeah. So once the recording is over, you and I will discuss create that program off air. But before we finish up, words of wisdom.
Oh gosh. You want me to give words of wisdom?
Yes, I want words of wisdom from you.
Oh gosh, you really put me on the spot. Let me think. You never stop learning.
Okay, good.
Um, Kill people with kindness. I'm a very friendly person, and I think there is never a reason to be mean.
Correct.
I really can't think of one. Um, your competition is not your competition. They're your friends.
Yeah.
They're part of your community. And never give up on your dreams. That sounds really corny, but like never give up. You want to own your own grooming salon and you want to do it. There are so many more resources out here and a community that will love to help and guide you. Go for it.
Okay, so you know what? Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be here. I appreciate it. And everyone join us again in 2 weeks when I'm interviewing somebody else making a difference in the pet industry.
Thank you so much for having me, Mary. It was a blast.